30th of July, and you are bang on time for Daily Report here on TV47. Hello, good evening, and many thanks indeed for joining us here on the Daily Report. Today, of course, we shall be focusing on a raft of issues on the other side of the studio, with our panelists who will be joining us momentarily to discuss the state of the nation. But of course, we want also to give you a scoop of what has been happening during the day. For now, the highlights. Tonight, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, has unveiled tough new alcohol policy recommendations, with the authorities saying any measures requiring legal changes will be thoroughly validated by the public before implementation. Also tonight, the family of Peter Kayembe, a Form 4 student at Nairobi Road Secondary, is demanding accountability after it was confirmed he was fatally struck by a vehicle while escaping a student clash involving fellow students. Plus, despite growing public pressure and petitions targeting lawmakers like Nairobi woman Representative Esther Passaris, the IEBC has stated that Kenya lacks a legal framework to recall members of a National Assembly or senators. Welcome to the program, and co-anchoring with me on the sign language desk is Rhoda Nyamai. Now, efforts by voters to recall underperforming members of Parliament may not be realized before the next general election in 2027. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, says there is currently no legal framework or procedure in place to facilitate such a move. The electoral body cites a legal gap that was highlighted during a court case filed by Katiba Institute and Transform Empowerment for Action initiative against the Attorney General.
We are here today to express our deep concern and disappointment with the response received from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, regarding our petition to recall Honorable Esther Passaris, the women representative for Nairobi County. We initiated this recall under Article 104 of the Constitution, citing multiple and consistent violations of public trusts, abuse of office, and failure to uphold the values of leadership and integrity.
We remind the Parliament and IEBC that the Constitution is not a suggestion. It is a supreme law of the land, and no public institution has the luxury to ignore it. We hereby demand, as the Constitution provides, immediate law and or legal framework for the recall of members of Parliament, failure to which we shall revert to our constitutional rights under Article 37 to protest and demonstrate.
President William Ruto has signed into law two crucial bills: the Conflict of Interest Act 2023 and the Social Protection Act 2025, in a bid to boost transparency in public service and support the vulnerable in society. Speaking at State House Nairobi, President Ruto termed the new conflict of interest law as a turning point in the war against corruption.
On Wednesday at State House Nairobi, President William Ruto signed into law the controversial Conflict of Interest Bill 2023 and the Social Protection Act 2025. The Conflict of Interest Bill, which has stalled for 27 months, now replaces the Public Officers Ethics Act and will impose strict regulations to stop public servants from abusing power for their personal gain.
It's taken more than 24 months, 27 months to be exact, to get the conflict of interest law into place, because there was conflict of interest everywhere to be able to get it here. And but now that we have the law, we will now deal decisively with conflict of interest in every part of government.
The head of state explained that the Conflict of Interest Bill will empower the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, while the Social Protection Act will create a unified right-based welfare system.
That every resource, every coin, every cent, every shilling that is paid as taxes by the people of Kenya or in any other manner is used only for the intended purpose, and that no such resources find their way into private pockets or private enterprises. And that is why this is a very consequential moment in Kenya, that we are stepping up the use of public resources in the right manner.
Ruto stated that the new laws will also guarantee non-contributory support for vulnerable Kenyans across all life stages and will be implemented jointly by national and county governments to enhance dignity, equity, and resilience.
The social protection law now steps up our responsibility and provides a wider framework for us to attend to the vulnerable members of our society, to look after their interest, to make sure they get medication, to support them in various aspects, and to make sure also that only those who are vulnerable actually benefit.
Kenyans now eagerly wait to see if the laws, especially the Conflict of Interest Bill, will help curb corruption in the country. Timothy Washira, TV47.
Not to know the future of ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and other young turks in the Orange Party appears uncertain. This ahead of a highly publicized women's events in Trans Nzoia County, where UDA and ODM rebel factions are expected to attend. The event, dubbed Renaissance, will also see the participation of key allies to Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Fred Matiang'i. Apollo Kamahasmo.
A women fundraising event to be hosted by Saboti MP Caleb Amisi in his constituency in Trans Nzoia County on Sunday is full of political undertones due to the presence of invited guests in what appears to be a well-choreographed event dubbed the Renaissance. Amisi, just like ODM Party Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, is a vocal critic of the ODM-UDA working pact.
Kuna watu wengi sana katika chama hawawezi kuwa na energy na capacity kama yangu ama ya Sifuna kuongea. Wanaumia tu, wanasema this was a wrong move, but they can't talk. And you can see ODM in the government only benefits a few people.
Among those expected are ODM and UDA rebels, as well as allies of opposition leaders Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Fred Matiang'i, as well as MPs unafraid to speak against the leadership of their respective parties. The presence of embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna as the chief guest, assisted by former DP Rigathi Gachagua's ally and Githunguri MP Gathoni Mushomba, has caused speculation, given Sifuna is under pressure to quit ODM from Odinga's close allies, including his brother Oburu.
Sasa hii Sifuna akienda, what will happen? Yeah, so you can, if you threaten us that you can leave ODM, you can leave. Jared Okello is here. Jared Okello has better English because Jared Okello went to school in England.
Also expected is Embakasi's MP Babu Owino, Nyali MP Mohamed Ali, Kabuchai MP Majimbo Kalasinga, and Westlands MP Tim Wanyonyi. Kalonzo's allies Yatta MP Robert Basil and Kaiti MP Joshua Kimilu will also be in attendance. Also expected are former Interior CS Fred Matiang'i's allies, Kitutu Masaba MP Clive Gisairo, his Kitutu Chache counterpart Anthony Kibagendi, and Bomachoge Borabu MP Obadia Barongo. Apul Kamau.
Now, over 1,000 Kenyans are currently behind bars in foreign countries, many of them young and unaware of local laws. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has now called for urgent civic education targeting outbound travelers. As Faith Wangari reports, the government is scaling up consular support for Kenyans abroad as part of a wider push to protect migrant rights.
Over 1,000 Kenyans currently imprisoned abroad, many facing serious charges. Officials say this could have been avoided with better legal awareness. Prime Minister Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi made the revelation when he met legislators, stressing the urgent need for civic education to help citizens, especially young people, understand foreign laws before they travel.
Najua mmesikia hiyo. Mmesikia watu wakisema nasikia na kufeel. Hapana. Let us hear Steve. Let him tell us.
Your prayers, your contributions never went unnoticed. And I feel indebted.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary called on leaders to unite in nationwide awareness campaigns, saying prevention through knowledge is key. To protect citizens abroad, the government has introduced several measures aimed at education, prevention and support. With plans to have mobile consular services that aimed at reaching citizens in remote areas far from embassies, and outreach programs that focus on teaching travelers about foreign legal systems will be introduced. The government is planning to introduce legal and frameworks offering guidance before and during travel. Last but not least, court cases monitoring measures that will ensure detainees' rights are upheld and families stay informed.
Facilitate possible release and give the necessary support that we can from time to time once these cases come to us. But it is on the record in Hansard in Parliament. I actually tabled a document which has these details.
Mudavadi urged Kenyans to consult the Foreign Affairs Ministry before travelling to better understand legal obligations abroad. He added that the government continues to negotiate bilateral agreements to ensure fair treatment for Kenyan workers and quick support when legal issues arise. Faith Wangari, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the family of a 17-year-old Peter Kayembe, a Form 4 student at Nairobi Road Secondary School, is demanding justice following his mysterious death in Nakuru. Kayembe was reportedly hit by a car while fleeing from a violent confrontation involving students from his school and Menengai High School. The family is calling on the school and authorities to explain the circumstances that led to the chaos at the death of his son.
At the home of 17-year-old Peter Kayembe, a Form 4 student, funeral arrangements are underway. However, the cause of the conflict that led to his death remains unclear.
Walikuwa na fight shule na vile alikuwa mtoto wake aliona atachapwa, ndio alikuja tu akakuwa ameclose kwa barabara.
The chaos reportedly broke out last Friday after school involving students from Nairobi Road Secondary and Menengai High School. As Peter attempted to flee from one group and encountered another across the road, he changed the direction and was struck by a vehicle.
Fujo ilianza hapa. Sababu ya CCTV walitoka wakaenda huko kwa barabara.
Alikuwa amefukuzwa na wanafunzi wa shule ya Nairobi Road. Vile alifika kwa barabara katikati alikuta watoto wengi kwa barabara, sasa akivuka akakuta pande hii nyingine watoto ya Menengai. So akawa anarudi nyuma, just why walikutana na gari.
The woman who hit him with a car rushed him to a nearby hospital for first aid, with his mother later transferred him to Nakuru Level 5 Teaching and Referral Hospital after he complained of severe head pain.
Nikaenda mpaka hapo hosi, nikapata Peter amekaa chini. Nikamuuliza Peter, ni nini? Akaniambia mama, nilikuwa nakimbia nikiclose kwa barabara, si kujua vile iliendelea, but hii side yote sisikii na hii masikio na ninasikia nimeumia sana hii side.
An X-ray reveals serious internal head injuries that led to internal bleeding. Shortly afterward, Peter began vomiting blood and later passed away.
Sasa vile tulienda on 6, madaktari wakaanza kumtengeneza. Mtoto wangu akaenda niacha.
Now, the family is demanding that the school administration explain the origin of the student groups involved. Meanwhile, the OCPD of Nakuru says investigations into the incident are ongoing.
Naweza taka tu nijue nini kiliendelea kwa mtoto wangu, nitaridhika tu juu ameshaniacha.
Now, a deadly bandit attack in Laikipia's Dol area has left one police reservist dead and 4 others seriously injured. The attackers stormed the Seeki National Police Reserve Camp, engaging the officers in a 2-hour gun battle as they awaited reinforcements. As Modoni Brenda now reports, the incident raises renewed concerns over persistent insecurity in northern Kenya, despite ongoing government interventions.
On Monday, the Seki National Police Reserve Camp in Mukogodo, Laikipia County momentarily turned into a battlefield where a 2-hour fierce gun battle ensued. And its in wake, a police reservist was pronounced dead and 4 others left severely injured. According to authorities, an undisclosed number of armed bandits attacked the Seki National Police Reserve Camp and immediately opened fire. The police reservists fired back, causing a 2-hour deadly standoff as they called for reinforcement from the neighboring Doldol police station.
Kupoteza askari mmoja na 4 waliweza kupata majeruhi. Hii imekuwa trend katika Laikipia North na katika Northern Kenya.
During the confrontation, James Kayok Kwale, a police reservist, was fatally shot while 4 of his colleagues sustained serious injuries. They were rushed to Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital. The motive behind the attack remains unclear, but authorities believe it may be linked to the broader wave of cattle rustling and violent raids that have long plagued Laikipia and neighboring counties.
Vita ilitokana na bandits ambao tunaweza sema ni bandits ama ni wakora wenye walifamia kambi, hawataki maendeleo endelee katika hiyo Shulme Conservancy, na pia hiyo ndio route wezi wa kupanda wanapitianga ili waweze kuja kuiba mali ama kufuruga watu pale. So that's the main key.
The bandits have rendered much of the North Rift region inhabitable, and with police reservists now becoming targets, communities feel increasingly exposed to similar attacks. Modoni Brenda for TV47.
The Kibera High Court is set to rule on September 26, 2025, whether 3 police officers accused of murdering teacher and blogger Albert Ojwang will be released on bail, awaiting trial. The officers, including former Central Police boss Samson Talam, are facing charges in a case that has attracted public attention. During Wednesday's court session, the defense team pleaded for bail for officers Talam, James Mukhwana and Peter Kimani. However, the prosecution opposed the request, citing fears of witness interference and evidence tampering. Justice Diana Kavedza ordered that the second accused, James Mukhwana, be moved to Industrial Area Police Station after his lawyers raised safety concerns over his stay at Nairobi remand.
Which date did I give? The Were ruling is on 28th of August. Okay, so we'll go to September. No, I can't. I cannot. I really, the heart is willing, but the body no. So we are giving you a date of. Unfortunately, it will have to be 26th of September. 26th of September. Your time. Maybe 10. Yeah, at 10 a.m. At 10, no, I'll read. It's just reading the ruling. I'll read the ruling, then we do the hearing. Yeah, here.
Susan Wanjira, mother to the late baby Gian Wanjira, has filed an official complaint against Kenyatta National Hospital at the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council, citing alleged negligence that led to her 1-year-old daughter's death. This comes days after Health CS Eden Duale ordered investigations into KNH following separate gruesome incidents at the facility. Wanjira says the process of lodging her case was smooth and handled with urgency, as she received an official case number and assurances of swift action.
Naitwa Susan Wanjira, mother to Gian Wangare, mwenye alipass kwa Kenyatta National Hospital, and that thing was being highlighted on Monday. CS Duale akasema hiyo kesi ifuatiliwe. So leo nimekuja kwa ofisi za KMPDC, nikafanya recording ya statement yangu, na sasa nimegojea wafanye investigation ndio haki ya mtoto itendeke. Nilikuja kwa ofisi za KMPDC asubuhi, na nimepatiwa case number, na sasa nimegojea venye watafanya investigation. Wameniserve vizuri kwa ofisi. Sasa nataka CS afikiwe na hiyo report, ndio haki ya mtoto venye alisema itatendeka iweze kuwa ya kutendeka.
Kenya and Uganda have signed 8 new cooperation agreements to strengthen cross-border trade, infrastructure and regional integration. The deals were sealed during President Yoweri Museveni's official visit to Nairobi, hosted by President William Ruto at State House.
The MOU on the support of sustainable urban development of the Greater Busia Metro project, which will be undertaken between this year and 2028, will seek to facilitate the implementation of joint programs on infrastructure and other development projects in Busia. I'm happy that the governor of Busia County from Kenya is in our midst, and he has come to make sure that we don't forget that this is an important project, because the Metro of Busia is a shared city, both between Kenya and Uganda.
When I see people doing all sorts of things, arguing and so on, I wait to hear for the content. What are they arguing about? When they are talking about small things. But the big thing is modern economies are built on production of goods and services. The more goods and services you produce, especially industrially and agriculture and so on, the wealthier you are. But when you produce goods and services, the next question is, who buys what you produce?
Now, efforts by voters to recall underperforming members of Parliament may not be realized before the next general election in 2027. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, says there is currently no legal framework or procedure in place to facilitate such a move. The electoral body cites a legal gap that was highlighted during a court case filed by Katiba Institute and Transform Empowerment for Action initiative against the Attorney General.
The electoral body IBC says at the moment there is no clear legal framework that defines the grounds and procedures on how a member of parliament and senators can be recalled from their office. According to IBC, the gap to recall MPs and senators came up after the High Court's ruling in Katiba Institute and Transform Empowerment Initiative versus Attorney General. This means that the efforts of Kenyan voters to recall their members of parliament from office will be a tall order if at all MPs reject IBC recommendation forwarded to Parliament. IBC says when Parliament amended the law to address the recall of MCS, no such amendments were made regarding MPs. The Commission has now submitted recommendations to Parliament, urging the enactment of clear legal framework to govern the recall process for MPs and senators. As we speak, a section of Kenyans had already started the process to recall a number of members of Parliament, including Nairobi Women Representative Esther Passaris, on grounds that she undermined the constitutional right to protest and public participation. The voters claimed that Passaris has violated a number of articles in the Constitution, including Article 10, 35, 37, 73, 75 and 95 and 232 of the Constitution, and breaching Chapter 6 of the Constitution on matters leadership and integrity. The Elections Act stipulates that an MP can only be recalled at least 2 years after being elected and not less than 1 year before the next general election. The signatures must include at least 15% of the voters in each of at least half of the wards in the constituency. The voters will then submit their collected signatures to the IBC. The signatures must be accompanied by a list specifying the grounds upon which the petitioner wants the MP sent home, evidence supporting the claims, and a statutory declaration satisfying the signatures. The next step shall be IBC will verify the signatures and the validity of the petition. If the Commission finds that the petition meets the threshold, it will notify the MP, who will then have an opportunity to respond to the allegations. IBC will then notify the Speaker of the Parliament within 15 days. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, in a bid to tackle gender-based violence in conflict-affected regions, stakeholders from across East Africa have convened in Nairobi to discuss issues of women, peace and security. Gender CS Hannah Cheptumo announced new strategies aimed at curbing femicide and improving women's participation in decision-making.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, to fostering inclusive security, promoting regional stability, and East Africa standby force. I enable dialogue on women, peace, and security. The ladies tell them. Okay. Issues of gender commitment, family, empowerment, leadership, and meaningful issues of gender-based violence, including femicide, is on the high rise in Kenya, and this not only in Kenya but generally. And these are issues that we are addressing it. His Excellency the President came up with a task force that went around all the counties to collect information on what is happening, what is the cause.
So we are looking at how we can employ the African Union's Continental Results Framework, indicators for peacekeeping operations, because we are a high readiness force, so that we are well coordinated in the field in terms of prevention to violence to the population, as well as a response to violence.
Like my great republic, Kenya, has really worked hard to ensure that gender equity as already seen in the appointments and deployment of great women in leadership. I know other areas are lagging behind. Some other member states are still lagging behind in this.
Let's turn the clock now to matters health, where Cabinet Secretary Eden Duale now says corruption remains the biggest obstacle in regulating harmful substances in Kenya. Appearing before the National Assembly Delegated Legislation Committee, Duale revealed that powerful cartels have used court orders to frustrate efforts aimed at regulating narcotic and tobacco products. He vowed not to back down, with lawmakers pledging their support.
The forensic audit, the anti-narcotic team of the DCI, they have confirmed to me in writing that this substance contains dangerous drugs, not what the importer is saying. So that is the weakest link, and I think we were in the right place. But we will. But parenting is key, and these regulations will really help me.
But yes, let me ask you.
After corruption is that people have abused our judicial system. When I said I want to clean and have weed out the ones who are bringing dangerous products, somebody went to court. The process was stopped. But I think I agree with you, Chairman. And then, they have a lot of money. Even if I bring to Parliament, you have to assure me that I will get the right product. I'm not saying Parliament is corrupt, but those people, the way they appear during finance bill, to make sure that the sin tax, every year we increase tax on these harmful products. But it's not helping much. It's not helping much.
You're watching the Daily Report here on TV47, the home of the untold stories. It's time for me to select my thirst, but don't go away. Much more coming up on the other side of the break. Also coming up after the break. Equity Bank Kenya and CFAO Mobility have partnered on a new financing program offering schools and institutions up to 105% funding for select vehicles, boosting accessibility and mobility in the education sector.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Foreke tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Foreke is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Anyway, furahia umekaa na kasipuni. CP unit ni Punet.
Ni Punet.
Punet.
So you guys knew about...
Piga.
Sawa basi. Nasema, hata ungehivi the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, TVET institutions across the country have been urged to embrace income-generating initiatives to enhance their sustainability, rather than relying solely on school fees and government funding. Speaking in Mombasa during the Young Africa Works in Kenya TVET program Partners Forum, which brought together a number of education stakeholders, TVET Principal Secretary Esther Mworia commended institutions that have devised innovative ways of generating revenue, noting that such efforts contribute not only to institutional growth but also to the country's overall economic development. The PS further assured that the TVET institutions are adequately equipped with space and facilities to accommodate the increasing number of students shifting from universities to technical training.
So that we have pragmatic income generation within us, and some of these institutions are doing very well. I like giving an example of Eldoret National Polytechnic. They have cows that look like children because they are very beautiful. And they are not only getting milk from them, I don't know they are producing what, they are even using their own gas from those whatever. Nyeri National Polytechnic is selling milk in yogurt in supermarkets, among others that I can remember quickly from the faces that I see here. So when it comes to YGU, ladies and gentlemen, I am not discussing, I am directing.
Buckled up to some business where the government has announced that all civil servants' salaries will now be processed through the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, in a renewed effort to eliminate ghost workers and cap financial leaks in the public sector. According to Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi, the move is part of a broader set of anti-corruption policies developed in partnership with Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, with a particular focus on pension fraud and administrative loopholes. However, Badi revealed that the country still loses an estimated 2 billion shillings every day due to entrenched corruption, despite the government's continued interventions.
But we are at advanced stage. Actually, we wanted to start from this month to integrate our payroll system in the IFMIS. And that, there was just slight delay, but we have committed ourselves that month of August, all MDAs, all ministries, departments and agencies, and county assemblies will all be onboarded and you will only be paid salary through this integrated system. This will cure the problem of ghost workers existing in our payroll, and it will also help solve the problem of having multiple payrolls. It would also help in sorting out the mess that we have been in for years of employers paying part of salary and retaining part in the name that there are statutory deductions or deductions going to SACCOs or other deductions.
Our role and responsibility as an investigation agency is to take these kinds of reports that we receive, whether through the Auditor General, Parliament, or any other individual within the Republic who brings up information on such kinds of matters, to go back and find out the facts.
Now, customers in Kenya seeking vehicle financing now have access to up to 105 funding thanks to a new strategic partnership between CFAO or CFAO, Mobility Kenya and Equity Bank. The partnership's first phase targets schools and learning institutions offering comprehensive vehicle financing packages that include full insurance and related costs. The repayment terms are flexible, extending up to 84 months. Eligible vehicles include the Toyota Hiace van, Mercedes-Benz Bus 917 and the Hino FC 500 models specifically suited for educational transport. This initiative seeks to bridge transport gaps and offer affordable, accessible mobility solutions for institutions across the country.
We are introducing a comprehensive asset financing solution designed to support schools, businesses, and PSV SACCOs in acquiring essential vehicles through a structured, flexible, and highly affordable package. Under this initiative, customers can access up to 105% financing.
With these 54 outlets that we have throughout the country, it will actually allow these customers to be able to access the services at their convenience. A school does not need to drive 100 kilometers to access after-sales service. One of the key things that we also have for them, we have a tailored service plan, where they can also plan the cost of services and how to manage it throughout the usage period.
Now, over 500 farmers and agripreneurs converged in Kisumu County for the Safaricom Sapphire Connect Forum, a transformative initiative aimed at equipping them with digital skills and business tools for modern farming. Held under the M-Pesa Sokoni Greater Western Edition banner, the event offered practical training on smart farming, mobile marketing, and financial literacy. Farmers were also introduced to digital platforms like DigiFarm, connecting them with quality agricultural inputs, access to credit and reliable markets. Partners such as DTB and Strathmore Business School led expert-led sessions to help attendees scale their agribusinesses. The forum is part of Safaricom's ongoing mission to turn smallholders or smallholder farming into a viable tech-powered enterprise across Kenya.
Behind me, over 500 of our agripreneurs have been gathered in our Sapphire Connect, which has been put together to bring our various entrepreneurs to learn from our experts, to meet with our partners like the banks, to learn of our various products, to network with each other, and also to see how we can empower them, provide them with powerful, resourceful tools.
If we carry along like-minded partners, like Microsoft and eMobilis in digital and AI, in financial wellness, like Centonomy, TransUnion, and Cliff Decker Hoffmeyer, and then on the entrepreneurship side, Strathmore Business School, we can create a really powerful program to bridge that knowledge gap.
Kenya's real estate sector is embracing a digital future with the launch of Nyumba Zetu, a next-generation property management platform tailored to streamline operations across various housing developments. Launched amid a 4.6% growth in the real estate sector to 281 or 283.1 billion shillings. As reported in the 2025 economic survey, the platform caters to residential, commercial, mixed use and the affordable housing portfolios. It provides landlords, developers and property managers with tools to manage finances, engage tenants and scale operations efficiently. This marks a significant shift towards automation and smarter solutions in a rapidly expanding industry.
A digital-first bank, we're very interested in digitizing payments for our customers, collections, and any other operations that they have. We do recognize that this solution that is offered by Nyumba Zetu is going to improve the customer's operations and enhance their process. And because we've already perfected the payment and collection piece, we thought that we needed a partner to be able to fulfill the entire chain and ensure that the back-end process is also aligned to the front-end process where we complete the payments.
But the key most issue that we saw a lot of property managers and landlords facing was around our payment reconciliations and financial reporting. And what we wanted to do was build a platform that is very easy for a lot of landlords who are not, don't necessarily have to be accountants to use, right? Very friendly, very intuitive, that is integrated with the different banks and payment platforms so that the payment reconciliations, digital invoicing, that entire process is automated, right?
And Kenya's micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, are set to benefit from a 2.6 billion shillings trade finance facility launched by British International Investment aimed at expanding access to affordable credit. The funding prioritizes, I should say, underserved entrepreneurs with 75% of the facility allocated for trade-related activities and over half earmarked for women-led enterprises and agribusinesses. Officials say this aligns with national strategies to boost entrepreneurship, address persistent financing gaps and promote rural economic growth. By increasing liquidity and capital availability, the facility is expected to empower MSMEs across value chains in both urban and marginalized regions.
SMEs are spread across. We have some that are in trade business, we have others in agribusiness, and others doing other forms of business. But looking at the facility that we are signing up today is going to help us to walk journeys with those customers. We facilitate them as they do trade, we facilitate them as they do their agribusiness and the entire value chains of whatever they do.
In this relationship is that Family Bank really knows and understands critical sectors that drive this economy. We've talked a lot about MSMEs, which of course we know are crucial to drive the GDP and growth of the Kenyan economy, but also critical sectors like agriculture.
All right, sports is up next. All right, day 2 of the secondary school national games in Kakamega came with fireworks as traditional football powerhouses continue to send a clear message. They mean business. Today, Musingu and St. Joseph's demonstrated dominance while defending champions. Chances of progressing are hanging by a thread. Here's our report by our sports reporter, Alan Nzuki.
The men's 3x3 basketball tournament saw Nairobi powerhouses Upper Hill edge out Kenya with 17 points to 13 and outclass Chuka 20 points to 6 before succumbing to a 21-17 point loss to defending champions St. Joseph Boys Kitale.
Are actually defending champions. We won it last year in Kisii, went up to East Africa, so we are actually making a repeat. Our prayer, our humble prayer, that God may shine upon us, that we may take the trophy again, then go to East Africa, and we had agreed with our friends in FSK that this year is ours. So they handed over the trophy already.
The way I've seen, the more we continue playing,
the more aggressive we become. The first game we lost narrowly, the second game we are winning, the third one we have already won. So we are waiting for the fourth game, and as I know my team, they'll take me till nationals. We're either playing or not playing.
In the boys' badminton, Dir Haria, Lakisha Punjabi, Avula Reddy and Ryan Kibet secured wins in their respective pools and are set to represent the country in the upcoming East Africa Games.
Competition this year is much tough. The players have improved drastically. Again, we're hoping to make East Africa, and since this year it's in Kenya itself, we are hoping that we can bring the cup home again.
It's a good experience to go for the East African Games. Through that way you can get experience. Like last year I felt a bit more pressure in these national games, but this year with my experience it's been much easier.
Meanwhile, in football, fan favourites Musingu dumped Garissa High 9 goals to 2, while Butere girls showcased their class in the girls category, edging out Nasokul girls 2-0 thanks to a brace from star striker Lona Faith.
Game ya leo imekuwa poa kwetu sisi, tunaendelea poa cause tuliwin game ya jana na tena tumewinia leo. It means itatumotivate sisi kama players.
Playing the trophy, the national trophy, but the biggest trophy, which is the East African trophy, we are going for it. The girls are psyched up.
Other results, Jobo booked themselves a ticket to the East African Games with a commanding 3-1 win over Serrani of Mombasa, while the Green Cardinals of Agai secured a 1-0 triumph over Eastern Region's Moi High Biruri. Reigning national football champions Highway Secondary are on the brink of elimination after being held to a 3-all draw by central champions Kariangari. The Kings of Nairobi now face a tough task on Thursday as they take on Serrani in a must-win match for the Beldin Udemba-led side.
So mimi naweza sema tu kichwa juu, bado hatujapoteza, hakuna mtu tumeua. So hizo ni vitu za game. Juu game kuna mshindi na mwenye anashinda, si ndio? So kesho tu tuna come back strong na kesho tutashinda na lazima tushinde na mabao mingi ndio tu qualify.
Reporting for TV47 from Kakamega County, my name is Alan Zuki, Sports.
Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy has made 3 adjustments to his final 25-man squad for the upcoming African Nations Championship scheduled to kick off on August the 2nd, 2025. Shabana midfielder Brian Mishira, Tuskers midfielder Crispin Erambo and Sofapaka forward Edward Omondi are the latest inclusions, replacing Mohamed Bajabar, Swale Pamba and Brad Musa, who will now miss the tournament. The Benny McCarthy-led Harambee Stars are now fully focused on the opening match against DR Congo, set for this coming Sunday at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Kenya will also face Angola, Morocco and Zambia in Group A.
You know, it's not the end of the world if your first game is a disaster, but in our case, hopefully not. So I'm confident that the boys will be ready and they will be ready to give the best kind of performances that the Kenyans faithfuls deserve. So we'll make it our quest to have one of our best matches of the tournament come Sunday, because it just sets you up nice, because like I said, we are in the group of death. So if you get a good result against DRC, who's won this tournament twice, so they know what it's about, so it will just give us a little bit more breathing room for Angola and Morocco and Zambia to come.
It's a good feeling, first of all, because I think for the last 3 to 2 years we've been playing our home games away. So now playing back home with the fans, I think it's going to motivate us, and I'm sure we're going to perform. So again, we just want to tell all the Kenyans to come and support us, because on Sunday we're going to perform and we're going to do our best, and of course we're going to do everything to make sure that the trophy stays in Kenya. I don't think so, because nowadays football has really changed. There is no small team or big team, small country, big country. It's all about how you prepare yourself, and I think we have prepared well, and we are ready. So we will face any country, and as I say again, we are ready for anyone.
Honorable Salim Mvurya earlier today assessed Kenya's readiness for the 2024 African Nations Championship, which is just 3 days away. Mvurya, accompanied by Chan Local Organizing Committee Chair Nicholas Musonyi and FKF President Hussein Mohammed, inspected preparations at Kasarani and Nyayo Stadium, which are set to host Group A matches. They also visited Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where two Harambee Stars opponents, DR Congo and Angola, are expected to arrive tomorrow morning.
Very happy that we have good progress. You have seen the branding here in this stadium, the branding in Kasarani, and many of the things that relate to the tournament are now ready, and the teams have begun to arrive. I think we have several teams that are already in the country, and therefore I want to assure Kenyans that this historic tournament is going to take place as planned, and all the preparations are on schedule. Even at the airport, we have a desk, we have a number of stewards and volunteers who speak several languages, basically also to guide our delegations, CAF delegations and visitors who will be coming here to watch the games. We also have a lounge for VIP delegation at the airport, and therefore we are not taking anything to chance.
All right, that's all she wrote in the sports. We want to take a short break. When we circle back, we buckle down to a discussion with our guests who are already here in studio on The Insight, where Truth has a new address. We are joined today by Samson Cherugai, who's a senator of Nandi. Also, we are joined by Rosa Buyu, who is a member of Parliament, Kisumu West. We'll be joined as well by Senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka. So we are expecting to have very interesting discussion on a raft of issues as far as the state of the nation is concerned, primarily also the preparation of the IBC. We have 23, of course, by-elections that are meant to be happening. But how is it also shaking up as far as the preparations is concerned? Challenges also by the court petitions that have been filed. We want to look at that and a raft of other issues as well, looking at also the SHA and the accessibility to it. We take a short break. Don't go away. You're watching TV47.